Okay, PGM 98387. Here I am in my backyard. You can see the amount of dandelions that I have. I have quite a few dandelions. I have the macro lens on, so it's going to be a little bit different. I'm holding the camera as steady as possible. I'm really trying to hold the camera very steady, but it's my hand's shaking a little bit. I have had coffee today, so I've had about maybe 3.5 cups of coffee, 8-ounce cups. And these grow in my yard. They just come up, and there's, every year I try to dig them all out. Last year I spent hours and hours and hours digging and pulling these plants up in my yard. And this year I'm just going to say to hell with it. I'm not going to waste my time pulling up dandelion plants. I got more important things I have to do with my time. So I just want to let my neighbors out there know in Spanaway that I'm leaving the dandelions as they are on my property. So I'll get that out of the way. Anyhow, here's my Asian pear tree. I'm getting a lot of blossoms on this. And they are the sweetest pears. They're like, round, and they have, they're very crisp and sweet when you eat them. And somebody has told me that I read, or somebody told me, I can't remember where, but they said you're supposed to pinch blooms off. You don't want too many blooms, otherwise it'll the fruits will be small, and you won't fruit as much in the following years. Here's a raspberry canes. These I cut back. They just grow they've grown under the fence. The neighbor planted them and pulled them up, and they're still coming up from the ground, which is okay. I usually dig them up and put them in pots. And here's my strawberry plants. I have them in this tin wash basin, and they've done actually quite well. The slugs, when the berries are red and ripe, the slugs have a harder time crawling up that. I'm getting ready to put dirt in these pots here. My neighbor gave me these potatoes. They're all sprouting, and I'm going to use the soil here and plant these potatoes in the soil. And there's a good, probably about maybe three cubic yards of soil there, or 4 cubic yards. And these are the blueberries. I believe these are called Patriot blueberries, and those are, I think they're blue, I don't know, something blue. And there's, I put fertilizer on those. These are, what I'm going to show you are the pear trees. That was a pear last year. That's the rescue pear. And I'm going to put, there's mites that get on the leaves, and I need to spray the leaves, and I need to do that. You can see there's blooms, so I'm going to get some fruit, maybe, if we don't get a heavy hail. And there's the Bartlet pear tree. I'm getting some blooms on that. I didn't prune that back too heavily this year. I just, where the trees were touching each other, I cut those branches off. And anything that was, pointing down, anything pointing down on the stem that's fruiting is not a good. You have to cut that off. So I cut off the diseased parts also on the plants. And here's my, rack of panels that I've been using in the Harbor Freight. And I'm going to do a demonstration of my coffee maker, I believe. That's the amount of volts coming from the the Sine Powerbright 1500 watt inverter, and running lights off of it also. Here's where I have it plugged in. It's the center plug is the lights, and then the left and the right plugs are power strips. You can see the green light is on. And these are my charge controllers, and the reason I don't have the panels directly routed to the C40 is because these are individually have blocking diodes in them. So any light that would be leaking from one panel to another panel would leak. It would go backwards, and I don't want that. So that's why I use these, because there's blocking diodes in them. The panels individually don't have blocking diodes in them. So the Morphous glass, there's no junction box on those, on the Morphous glass. They're just like those, but they're plastic. That's one set. That's the Harbor Freight. And then there's 8 other ones on the roof that these go through. So 4 and 4, and then the 3 of the Harbor Freight are running through these regulators. The reason I don't have them is because there's blocking diodes built in. If you don't use blocking diodes, then the power will leak back out through the panels. So it's more efficient to have blocking diodes. Otherwise, I'd run them all through this. This is a very, very good charge controller. It's a pulse width modulated, and that's the amount of amps that are coming from the C40 charge controller right now. So it's letting in approximately 19 amps trying to be as steady as I can with my camera. It's kind of difficult, and there's some reflection on this polycarbonate material. So this is the voltage that's the batteries are at right now. All that inverter is on running. So I have about, looks like 13 some volts in there coming in, and the coffee is brewing. This is the amount of watts that the coffee maker is consuming. Those are coming off. That power is coming from the Powerbright 1500 watt inverter, and the coffee maker is requiring 650 watts, 6.61 amps. Sorry about the camera being kind of the motion, because it's kind of hard to keep my hands still sometimes. And there's the microwave. I'll show that in another video. So I'll attach a segment onto this video if I can. I'm not really good at editing videos on my computer here. But this is some of the tools I use. Always wear safety glasses if you're going to be running equipment. You know, you never know when a piece of metal or wood or a chip or something in the air or dust or whatever will fly into your face. You want your eyes protected at all times if you're going to be running power equipment. Put safety first always. So I'll turn this on and you'll see how much. See, I can use power also while that coffee maker's on. So and then I have the head, the lights, the fluorescent light fixture running off the 1500 watt sine inverter also. So the coffee maker and the fluorescent lights are running at the same time. I'm sorry about the camera being shaking. You know, I'm trying the best I can to keep the camera focused on the objects. I'm going to turn this on right now, and it will overdraw power from the inverter, and it will shut the inverter off. I know it's beeping, beep, and it shut off. So that's off, and that's off. Little showing off of how much power it takes it before it shuts off. Probably about, well, those two devices running at the same time. That drill press was probably running at 100 watts, so it was adding 7. There was probably, and then the lights are another 100 watts. So anyhow, here's a microwave running. I have a somewhat already, cup of coffee in there. It's not real warm. It's hot. It's about 120 degrees. So I'll show the amount of volts that's the sine inverter is running at. Here's the battery voltage right now. So the voltage is being maintained in the battery bank at about 13.5 volts. 13.5 volts. I'm bringing in about 6 or 7 amps from the two racks of the polysilicons and the monocrystallines. You can see the lights on, fully charged battery bank. The sun is out, and I'm home. I'm glad. Usually I'm at work and the sun's out. Here's the power running on the microwave. This is the amount of watts it's taking right now as it's running. I know it needs cleaning. Sorry about that. It's kind of a little dirty. Running on a lot of watts. It takes a lot of watts on that thing runs. Almost 1,000 watts. Sorry about I should have it talking while I'm doing it, but the microphone that's on the back of the camera, it's inconsistent in the quality because I'm trying to hold the camera on the objects and talk at the same time. It's awkward. Thanks for listening.